G'day guys, a comic book noob here, and I thought I'd kick off my first video of 2021 with my top 5 mini-series of 2020. So stick around and I will reveal my list of top 5 mini-series right after this. Alright guys, a comic book noob here, and I'm bringing you today my top 5 mini-series comics that came out in 2020. Now these range from 4, 5 to 6 issues long, and it's the list of my favorites for no other reason than I thought they were good reads. I've tried to keep them to indie titles. There is one DC Black Label one on the list, but yeah, we'll get to that. Anyway, let's kick it off with number 5. So number 5 from Dynamite Comics, Mars Attacks Red Sonja, written by John Layman and Fran Strachan. I hope I pronounced that properly. Now this was just a really cool, like, Red Sonja meets the Mars Attacks world, which was, if you like Red Sonja, which I've been enjoying lately, I've been enjoying this year, and if you like the Mars Attacks movie, it's just a good little mesh up, fun story where those worlds intertwine. All this sort of experimental shit's going on with Mars Attacks aliens, and Red Sonja's trying to defend, like a kingdom that they're trying to destroy. Mars is attacking Brisidon, I think it's called, is the kingdom they're trying to take over and then take over the world, sort of thing. This was just a fun read for me. This was a 5-issue series. It was really good. I thought it was a really fun read. So that's number 5 on my list. Now the next book on my list, at number 4, I'd like it to be higher, but it's not finished yet. It's the only title on this list that isn't finished. I believe there's still 2 issues to go. We're up to issue number 3, came out last week, I think, the week before, maybe. But anyway, from Aftershock Comics, Miles to Go, by B. Claymore, the writer, and Stephen Molnar, the artist. This was really good. This started off really hectic, and I think that's why I was drawn into this. Now, this follows the main character, Amara Bishop. She's had like a bit of a seedy, hectic upbringing, which, that's the first few panels you see in the first issue, and yeah, so like she shoots this dude when she's like 12 or 13, like he's tied up in a chair, she's like point blank, like bang. It's, yeah, heckers. So then we fast forward to the present day, and she's all grown up. She's got a kid of her own. The guy who brought her up, he's like dying in the hospital, and he eventually gets, does he get killed, or does he accidentally get killed by government agents? And it's just a good story. Every issue that I've picked up of this book, it just reels me in even further. But it's number 4 on the list for the simple reason because it isn't finished yet. I mean, issue 4 and 5 could completely bomb. I don't think it will, but man, this was such a good, fun story. It's still going. I presume there's going to be a trade comes out when it finishes. So if you're into, like, criminal underbelly, like hitmen sort of stories like that, it's pretty good. It's pretty fun. I really enjoyed it. I really am enjoying it, I should say. So for that reason, yeah, number 4 on the list, Miles to Go. Now the next, number 3, the next book on the list is the DC Black Label book that I was telling you about. But not only is it DC Black Label, it's also Hill House Comics. And number 3 on the list, that book I'm talking about is Plunge by Joe Hill. Artist was Stuart Amonen, and colorist was Dave Stewart. Sorry, I couldn't remember who it was. I've written it all down. I'm trying not to look at it as I do this. I'm trying to be semi-professional about this. But this was a really cool story. I really enjoyed it. This was the second Hill House comic that I collected. It was sort of like came about just after I started collecting comics again. This is really, really good, I thought. This is the only one that I've been collecting that is written by Joe Hill. Now this sort of follows a ship called a derelict that sank in, I think it was the 80s, I believe. Some seismic sort of tsunamis and shit happens. The vessel's like turned on its side, and this beacon is starting to go off now. Now the company that owned it has been alerted of this little SOS beacon that happens like every half hour or every hour a day, something like that. So they recruit this team of salvagers, these boat salvagers, to go and retrieve their shit because they want it back. It's in the derelict is sank in Russian waters, I think. It's near this little islandy thing where it sank. The crew decide to go to the island, sort of check it out. They plan to stay overnight, and that's where weird shit starts happening. And spoiler alert, I'm trying not to reveal too many spoilers about the titles that I'm mentioning, but this is a little bit of a, well, it isn't and isn't a spoiler, so you can choose to like skip the next 30 seconds or minute or what, but the current crew find the crew of the derelict that's should be dead. Well, they are dead, but yeah, they haven't aged. They've been like infested with these alien worm type creatures there's like 40 of them in their bodies, like up to 40 or more of them in their bodies. And there's this really cool scene. If I can find it, I'll throw it up on the screen. If I can't, but yeah, I'm sorry. But there was this really cool panel where I think there's this worm, like the big thick things too, like it crawls out of his mouth as he's talking and then like comes back in through his eye socket. And it's, man, I remember looking at that panel as I was reading it, and I was just like, wow, that's creepy as shit. And it was just really, really awesome. Yeah, so the crew have kind of worked out all this sort of creepy shit's going on. I don't want to give away too much. There's like a lot of numbers and sort of things involved with sort of stuff they find. You got the typical sort of company man that's trying to, he makes everything worse, probably wouldn't have had the ending it had if it wasn't for that company dickhead. But Plunge, six issue series from DC Black Label Hill House Comics, really good. That was my top 3 miniseries of this year. And number 2 on the list is from Image Comics, Mika Indolfo's Mercy. Now this is like a Victorian horror style story. Horror, I guess. Yeah. Follows the main character, Lady Helene, and this other old dude, I can't remember his name at the moment. He just sort of follows her around, and wherever she goes, he goes. He's like the overseer of her. And they're both infected. They're infected? Or, I don't know, they've got this like alien, viney, tree sort of shit that's like living with them. They turn into these monster things. They need to like kill people and absorb their energy, I guess. They kill them, but it's like they suck the energy out of them, I guess. The story kind of develops following like other like shorter stories of other characters like around the town, and some of them make it, some of them don't. Some of them are pivotal to there's a series, Merciless, that's coming out in 2021, which I'm really excited for because I thought Mercy was really well done, and sort of when it was coming to the final issue, I was like, oh man, like I've really been enjoying this. I kind of don't want it to end, but it's been so good. It kind of, you could see, it was wrapping up, and yeah. But it's good that it's sort of left, that's where it is, and it's set up perfectly for the next series. So I can't wait for that. But Mercy was just so well done. And I think, I don't know how many times I've said that in my my description of this series. So I'll stop blabbing about how well done it was, and I'll go straight to my number one mini-series of 2020, The Comic Book Noob. I believe the best mini-series that came out in 2020 was from Dark Horse Comics, Spy Island. Spy Island was awesome. It was written by Chelsea Kane, and the artist was Elise McCall, sorry. But this was just a crazy story. It's on the Bermuda Triangle, obviously, as the title suggests. Actually, I didn't say the full title. It's Spy Island, a Bermuda Triangle mystery. It was just really crazy. The covers were so good on this book. It was just a 4-part series. I think it could have been a 5-part series real easily, even maybe a 6. But it was just, there was so much going on. There was just crazy shit that happened. This mime that, you know, with all this shit going on, like these big monster mermaids, like they weren't like the beautiful like mermaids with the tails and things. They were like these big gnarly sea creatures that like killed people that went too close into the ocean. It was really cool, but yeah, all this shit's going on, and this mime's just out on the beach, like in his boat, smoking cigarettes, not giving a shit, just like, yeah, whatever. And it was just really cool. And not only that, they had these ads, and it was just like those old school throwback type ads that related to the story. Sand fleas was a big thing. Like sand fleas were these little tiny little sand fleas that had like these little, like the radio people in the military had, that you see on movies, you know, like the backpacks and the call in the helicopter sort of thing. Yeah, it just had all this weird, wonderful shit in it, and it was just so good. I enjoyed it so much. The conclusion, the final number 4 issue, I think I love this series so much and build it up for this big epic finale that I didn't enjoy the last issue as much as I thought I did, but it was still really good. And this was just knocked it out of the park for me as far as like small series go. And there was it was issue 2 or 3. It was one of the middle issues. The cover was like really like colorful, and it had this little sticker price tag on it. I'll throw it up there. And it, like just all this little shit like that this book had just made me love it. It was just like, from the ads, from the crazy story, it was just really well done. So in my babbling, I've completely like missed the storyline of the story, but it's a crazy story that follows like this super spy called Nora Frood. I think that's how you pronounce it. And there's like, you know, a lot of drinking going on, a lot of like sex with this other spy that she likes, or I don't know if she really even likes him, she's just doing it because she can. And it's just crazy, unbelievable, weird stuff that just goes on. And I don't want to say, like, I don't want to give away anything. That's why I'm babbling, because there's certain points where I could go, and, you know, this person or this, you know, and then you're like, all right, you find that out in the last episode, or, sorry, the last issue. And, like, I've ruined it for you. But I highly suggest that you give this a try if you see it around. So that was it, guys. That was my top 5 mini-series for 2020. Let me know what you guys think. I really enjoyed all the titles that I mentioned. Obviously, they made my top 5 list, so let me know your guys' top 5 list of your short stories, or short mini-series that came out this year. So with that, I'll leave you guys to enjoy the rest of your new year, and I'll see you next video.